All right, next we got on the show here at the PRI is Austin Kirkpatrick with AK Race Cars Rev 1. Man, I met Austin probably 4 or 5 years ago, and actually Kevin Rumley introduced me and you. I'm not sure how you guys got connected back in the day, but ever since then we've been working together and on his vision of this race car. And, you know, I remember seeing bits and pieces when I first moved down to North Carolina. I remember going to Cherokee and it was all tarped off. I wasn't allowed, like no one was allowed looking at it. And I heard the rumblings that you had some sprint car front end. And then I remember going to a test at Charlotte where I think you had a shock bag on one of your 4-bar rods and someone got upset and turned you in.
Probably.
Yeah, remember that?
Yeah, it was, I think that was probably during the straight axle time too.
It was.
We had just a big shock bag over the left rear top rod just as a diversion tactic. I don't think there's anything crazy going on there.
Yeah. We all talked about it, every one of us.
Mission accomplished.
Man, I really appreciate you. You knocked this car out of the park. We got together in May, I think. We talked about doing a car for the PRI Show, and man, we wanted to build something that, you know, for first off, I mean, the AK race cars, you got your marketing videos going out, your social media, you're always building cool. I know a lot of people know of you, don't know much about you, but they all want to see this car. And it couldn't have played out any better how the season went, the launch of your car, to kind of debut this Rev 1 to the entire public at the PRI Show. Man, I'm just so glad we were able to work this thing out. It looks amazing. I'm sure everyone's seen pictures now on social media. But man, how much work went into this? Because man, it just seems like a week ago you texted me and said the chassis is back from powder coat. Mm-hmm. And I was like, nice. A little scared, but nice.
Yeah, it was. I'm super appreciative of all the guys at BILSTEIN and letting me bring a car to the show. And you know, this was definitely our best foot forward as far as building a race car. And we definitely wanted to do some things to try to draw some attention to what we're doing. There's a little bit of shenanigans going on the front end, but for the most part, this is basically what our package is. And we you know, like you kind of alluded to, we built it in about, you know, a week and a half, and we did our best to, you know, make the fit and finish as good as we could. We did some cool stuff with the plexiglass sides, so you could kind of see some of the cool things under the car, see some of the new cool BILSTEIN offerings that you guys are coming out with, and our front shock display mounts, as we've been calling them, showing off the new Evo shocks that BILSTEIN's been developing and kind of highlighting some of the really neat things that you guys are working on. And you know, like you also alluded to, we've been working together for quite a while now, and this isn't just a new partnership and a new alliance. BILSTEIN's been extremely supportive of what we've been trying to do, and it's been exciting to work together to this point, and I'm super excited going forward, getting to work together and develop some more cool shit, as you put it. And we are you know, constantly trying to get better and trying to evolve and trying to learn and trying to innovate and progress. And so I think that BILSTEIN's got a ton of cool tools and a ton of resources, and I'm excited to keep trying to move the ball forward.
Yeah, man, a lot of the things I've seen, like I've seen your car at the track before, but I don't think I've ever really looked at it. But like when you rolled this thing in here Wednesday, I mean, I'm assuming every car, I have no reason to think every car is going to leave your shop like this, but man, everything is just a little bit different. I don't see one thing that looks like it was a copy of something else. I mean, to be completely honest, I mean, I keep talking about your J-bar. I mean, is there purpose behind everything, or is it you just didn't want anything to be the same as, or did you find something that could be a little bit better from a manufacturing point of view or performance? Like, how did you go about doing that?
Yeah, so the current paradigm in the sport is if you come out with anything that's just radically different, the rule makers are not going to be too happy about it. So we had to kind of play within the spirit of the rules for a car that we're selling to the public. We can't make a car and then it get outlawed and then be out in the wild. And so we had to really work on trying to just optimize every single thing that went on the car. from a design standpoint. We were, we're trying to win with a death by 1,000 cuts and have just 1% increments all over the car. And so a lot of the components, they're just, we used a lot of cool generative AI tools to design a lot of things. We've, I've got a pretty extensive background in suspension design, and so our configurations and our settings and our lengths are all just a little bit different, and we're just trying to make something that's a better mousetrap. And we want we wanted what we had to not only be better but also legal, and we had kind of a filter in which we processed a lot of the things that we were looking at when we were designing parts. We were looking to make things, obviously, performance is the most important thing. If we could build a car that was made out of styrofoam, and if it won races, people would buy it. So performance is number one, the most important thing. But we also wanted to look at the ease of manufacturing and consistency, so that we could make sure that when customers were buying cars, everybody was getting the same stuff, and that you could build a program on the platform that we were designing. So it's hard to build a platform when you're getting very large variances in the products that you're receiving. So if you buy a race car, you build a program on a race car, and then you buy another race car, and things have shifted a little bit or moved a little bit, and you put the same package you've been running on the new car, and it doesn't run the same, then it takes some amount of time to reconfigure around the new car. And so that's just a non-starter for some of these national touring guys. So we really emphasize that. And then we also obviously wanted to make we tried to make a few safety improvements also, and we did a lot of research and made a lot of just put a lot of thought into where we thought some potential weak points were on the safety side, and made what we thought were some pretty common sense improvements on just the general layout of some things to make things safer. And so that was kind of the third thing in which we filtered things through.
Yeah, I think the most impressive part of the safety side of it that I noticed was your seat mount. Like I know you did the video and you showed it, a glimpse of it in that release video, but seeing it in person and kind of truly be able to look at it a little bit more detail, man, I think you just changed the sport. I mean, I don't know why any chassis manufacturer wouldn't look at that and immediately do the same as, right? Yeah. I'm not sure is that something you did on your own, or did you work with someone else on that concept?
We took a little bit of inspiration from what was going on in the sprint car industry. They're starting to do a little bit of soft mounting on seats, and so when you crash, what you're trying to do is you're trying to lengthen the time from when you're moving to when you're completely stopped. You could have a fatal accident at 30 miles an hour if you were driving a completely rigid vehicle and you hit a completely rigid wall. But in passenger vehicles, they design all these crumple zones, and like a safer barrier in NASCAR, or even the barriers on a highway are designed to give some, because you need to slow the time, or you need to increase the time between when you're traveling and when you're completely stationary, so that you're decreasing peak G load, and it's safer on your brain, your organs, and everything. And so the soft seat mounts are just one more layer to just increase the time in which you decrease your speed from whatever you're going to zero. And so and it actually makes the seats, in my opinion, easier to mount, which is, everybody knows how hard it is to mount a seat in a race car. Kyle Strickler, one of our drivers, is pretty known for moving seats around, and he said that he's sold just because the seats are so much easier to move, and it's so much easier to kind of get the seat where you want to get it, so that it's comfortable and it's kind of laid out like you want. And so that's an improvement we're pretty proud of, and it's something that's, like you said, I thought it was kind of common sense, but hopefully some other guys kind of adopt it too, and it just makes everything safer for everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
What kind of inspired your wanting to dive into that and improve that seat mount there? Was it a wreck you'd had or anything in the past that jarred you differently, or what inspired that?
It was mostly just seeing some other trends, like I said, in the sprint car industry. I think that sprint cars are probably, they seem to be probably one of the more dangerous forms of racing, and so they're going to be on the leading edge on some safety things like that. And so I saw a few different versions that were being implemented on the sprint car side, and so I just kind of put my own little twist on it and was able to implement it into a late model form factor.
You mentioned you used AI a little bit. I know I bounce a ton of ideas. I just get in little wars with my ChatGPT, and you usually debunk me because you thought of it 4 years ago and it didn't work. But where do you see the sport going when it comes to AI? Looking into just the national level of dirt late model racing, do you see AI making an impact as it gets better each day?
Well, as soon as we can start programming Optimus robots to groove and grind tires, I think we're going to see a lot of improvements in the sport. I'm just kidding. I think...
Is that the next design?
Well, the Tesla has their humanoid robots that you may be able to duct tape a grooving head to, and let them groove some 2s, 3s, and 4s would be pretty sweet. But I think from a design standpoint, there's a lot of cool things that you can do using AI. Rather than like historically, you would make a part and you would test it to see if it was strong enough, and then if it was strong enough, then you ask the question, okay, is it too strong? And if it's too strong, where are we going to reduce? Where can we pull material out to reduce the mass of the part? With generative AI, you can, instead of using that method, what you're doing is you're giving a computer program fixed points. You're running a load case through the points, and it generates a shape that is most optimal for whatever the parameters you're optimizing for. So you can say, for that, like for example, for our bell cranks that we put on this car, those were designed using generative AI, and I said, okay, well, I know where the center fulcrum is, I know where the push rod's going to mount, I know where the shock's going to mount, and I know what loads it's going to be seeing, and then I added a little side load just to make up for there being some misalignment on the push rod or misalignment in the shock, and then it just generates that shape. And then I can literally save that, send it to somebody with a metal 3D printer, and they print out the part. And so as the 3D printing technology gets a lot better, I think it's going to be a lot more viable for manufacturing and not just fun PRI show things. But I think probably the biggest upside on the AI side for motorsports is just using it as somebody to ask questions to. And so AI, these language models are scraping basically everything the whole corpus of human knowledge, and it can access that when it answers questions that you ask. And so if you can formulate focused questions, the AI can give you answers that are going to be much quicker and much more well packaged than you having to go scrape the internet yourself and find where these answers are and piece together your own answer. It's just going to be way more. It's just going to be a way quicker point from point A to point B. And so I think it's just going to really, to me, I think it's just going to allow us to learn quicker. It's going to allow us to understand how things are working better. And that to me is the number one most important thing, is just understanding how things work at the most fundamental levels. And anybody that's watched any Elon Musk podcast knows he talks a lot about first principles thinking, and understanding how things work all the way down to the molecular level is what's required to really innovate. In my opinion, you have to really, really understand things well in order to come up with cool solutions, because you have to truly understand the problems. And so I think the AI can really help with that.
I think you made a good point, because with racing today where it's at, especially in dirt late model or even 410 sprint car racing, there's only so much you can control as a chassis manufacturer, but it makes your partners that much more important which ones you select, because you need to make sure, if it's your engine selection or your carburetor selection, your fuel cell, how important is it to make sure you're aligned with manufacturers that can also think in that type of thought process, right? Because you can solve a lot of problems with this, but you're going to have to rely on the manufacturer that designs certain products to also fix problems that you might find. Like, in the 5 years we've worked together, we've made very small but large gains, right? In right now in the shock industry, but all the shock companies are good, right? I don't know if one has a clear advantage, but I like to think we have that upper advantage on identifying problems and finding solutions, and the importance of being able to work with AK race cars. Not only are you located so close, 30 minutes. But being able to be, being able to connect daily if need be, and being able to help use that relationship to better our product. Do you find other manufacturers on the car that might have helped you get here where you're at today? Like, for example, the stuff on the deck, I see some grommets or whatever. What is that? Like, is that something you made, or is that another manufacturer that you rely on?
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's important that everybody's kind of on the same page, and that people are playing by the same code, I guess. The deck grommets specifically are made by one of my really good friends, Matt Furman and Sean, who both are. They both run a company called Lucky Dog Manufacturing, and they do some really cool work as well. And they 3D print those out of TPU, and it's a super cool product that serves a lot of purposes, and it allows you to get a little sloppy with your deck cutouts and still make it look cool. And it also has an aerodynamic advantage or element to it where it keeps the high pressure on the high pressure side of the deck and the low pressure on the low pressure side of the deck, and doesn't allow air seep. And then there's just that's an example of a cool product. And Matt, we've worked with really closely over the years, and he's an extremely smart guy and it's an honor to get to work with him in some capacity. And there's a lot that's just one example of a part on the car that kind of checks that box. And we try our best to identify companies and align with people that kind of are thinking the same way and trying to move the ball forward, and aren't just trying to just do things the quote unquote old fashioned way, or just try to pull one over on you. And I think that BILSTEIN's is a really, really good example of a company that just has an unbelievable amount of tools and resources to continually be improving our understanding of what's going on. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what all of these tools are doing, is just helping us understand at the fundamental levels what's going on at a higher level. And I mean, like data acquisition, 7-post rigs, going to the wind tunnel, all these things. You go to the wind tunnel and you pull out, and your car's at the same speed as it was. Your car doesn't run any faster when you put data acquisition on it. But what you are doing is you're allowing yourself to paint a little bit clearer picture as to what's going on, and you're allowing yourself to start to put a little bit more puzzle pieces together and learn about how these things work just a little bit more. And so being able to constantly be doing that, and then leveraging that knowledge and that understanding into questions that you can ask and rabbit holes that you can run down to find improvements, I feel like is what we try our best to be able to do systematically and be able to do on the regular.
So I got another question I got is so we got Trey over here. Trey came on board this year at BILSTEIN. Trey is running our shock department since I believe January, something like that. Now, when Trey come on board, I didn't realize you guys knew each other to the extent the lights just went out. To that extent, but where did you and Trey meet? How long have you guys been friends? You guys, because I think you both are from Florida originally.
Yeah. So Austin and I have known each other for a long time, probably since he was 12, 13, and I was 15, 16.
I didn't realize it was that long ago.
So we've been around for a long time and chasing a lot of the same goals and dreams of motorsports and stuff, and through those times. And as I moved on to North Carolina and did other things a couple years ahead of him with our age difference, and he was in the pavement world there for a little while, and I was in the pavement world for a little while. We reconnected then again a little bit. I went to the dirt world. He then came on to the dirt world a little bit later. We reconnected again. So it's been a fun 20 some odd years here together of us really supporting each other in some different ways through motorsports, and it's really come full circle. I'm proud of us to all be sitting here, us three here today with this car in our booth, and represent the BILSTEIN brand, and seeing us all come together here. It's been really cool to see. I'm proud of Austin. I'm proud of everything we've done. I'm proud of our shock package. I'm proud of our season that we've all done. It's really cool to see what this combination can do in the future moving forward.
Yeah, man, I can't wait to see 2026. I know you got some exciting guys getting with cars on order. I can't wait to see them on track. Man, I can't thank you enough for getting this car together. It turned out amazing. Wish everyone was here to see it. We'll try our best to get as much video of it as we can to get it out there. But appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, man. Pleasure is on this end. We it's super cool to, you know, in year, I guess this is the start of year 2, to be sitting here in such a prestigious booth. I mean, BILSTEIN's one of the biggest shot companies on planet Earth, and you guys are obviously as successful as you are. Undeniably the #1 shot company in dirt racing. It's super humbling to be able to associate with you guys, and this, you know, we're just happy that everybody likes the car. We really tried our best to do something that was gonna, you know, be exciting and be a product that was representative of how cool this company is and how cool this brand is. And so, you know, it's a big honor, and I'm super thankful and super appreciative of you, Aaron, you, Trey, and everybody at BILSTEIN, and letting us, you know, display our car here. And I can't wait to see what's in store for the rest of the year, or 2026. Wait, yeah.